I know you feel this.
Yar, Billy!
Yar, and as we cheer to a new year,
Yes.
Grizzled Veterans once again returns after a month and a half long hiatus.
Yeah, well, sometimes it happens.
We need to stop. You know, I feel like we say this after every. Oh yeah, we cheers. I better drink this.
Yeah, you gotta drink it, dude.
Don was making me try what's called a butter beer. It's a
Harry Potter thing.
It's a little sweet for me, but
You didn't even have that much in there.
no, I don't really like. I like beer.
Yeah.
I like beer that puts hair on my chest. And the sweetness just takes away from the hair that is supposed to go on my chest. Anyway, what episode number are we on? What is this?
This will be 13.
13.
For 2013.
13 for... Yeah. Anyway.
Whatever.
Yeah, so it begins. What is this? February 5th.
Yes.
February 5th, our 13th episode, and away we go. Well, as always, I'm Jason Rose.
And I'm Donovan Oziak.
And we are the Grizzled Veterans. On to a new year of 2013.
Yeah.
Episode 13.
I think
2013.
You know, like, despite all these 13s, I think it's going to be a lucky year. I'm hoping it's going to be a good year.
Funny thing, 13 is a very lucky number for me. Always has been. It was a number in basketball. I wore it on my jersey a lot.
Nice.
Very well. I've always liked the number 13 and 3 specifically.
I've kind of always had a bit of an affinity for 13 because I was always like, it's not unlucky. Not for me.
I have an affinity for you.
Aww.
Anyway, things have changed slightly. A little breakthrough for me personally. I'm now the community manager and a fellow editor on a website called New Gamer Nation. That's www.newgamernation.com. After talking with the editor-in-chief, Joe Marchese, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Joe. It's an Italian name. I'm not Italian, as you can tell. Marchese or Marchese, I don't know what the hell it is.
Something like that.
And he's down from New York, New Jersey area. We've never met, just talked. Anyway, he's brought me on, and things have been going relatively well. Viewership's up on the site. Blogs are getting, or pieces. I guess they're not even blogs now if I'm getting published them semi-professionally.
I suppose not.
No, they're just
articles.
Pieces.
Yes.
Just like how an artist would call, I commissioned a new piece today.
Yes. Well, when I was telling people about the little blog that I wrote for Nino Kune, I was like, I wrote an article.
An article. There you go.
IGN.
Well, article, see, you call them different.
Yeah.
Article is more of a news piece.
Okay.
Then there's editorials, which are stating something.
Okay.
Or covering something, I don't know, past, present. Honestly, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm new to this.
Whatever, we write.
Anyway, it's pretty cool. It's the first step, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, man.
I'm having it. I'm fun. New Gamer Nation is growing. It's grown a lot since I've come on board, and it can only get bigger.
Well, you've done a couple reviews for them now.
I have. I did Anarchy Reigns was my first one, and I got a lot of really good feedback on that game. Very good game, by the way. Has problems, but I gave it a 7.5.
Yeah, I think I give it a 7.
7.5. Yeah, I think that's a really accurate score. That's indicative.
It's fun. I need to go back to it because it wasn't really grabbing me as much as I had hoped.
Well, and we've had a lot of games to play too.
There's been a bit of a gamut there.
But it's it's a natural evolution of the beat 'em up genre.
Yep.
But it has a really awesome. One thing I gotta say, I say awesome too much in these podcasts. I gotta not say it.
I use awesome.
That's the one thing about this. You start to learn things that you repeat and your go-to words, so you can self-critique a bit.
I've been saying awesome since I was in public school.
Yeah, but we're not in public school anymore, are we?
Some things you just can't let go.
All right. But Anarchy Reigns is good. Next, I did DMC, which I think is my best review. I think it was really, really well done.
Well, it was his second and better than the first one.
Yep, but I was just really proud with the layout and the way I broke down the new Dante. But we'll get into the new DMC later on in the podcast. Yeah. But for now, I just wanted to state that. Grizzled Veterans hopefully going places, and it starts with me, and Donovan's coming as well.
Yep.
I finally got him writing, ladies and gentlemen. His Nino Kuni piece went up on IGN. He had some good feedback with that.
Yeah, I got some nice Twitter responses from it as well. So yeah, I think I needed a little bit of affirmation.
Everyone does. You do it for a reason, but the thing is, you haven't been writing very much. It's pretty cool. Your second one. and you've got some.
I got hit back on Twitter by a couple of bigger people as far as
Well, that's where it starts, man.
yeah.
And it's all about getting better. You don't do it, but now that you've gotten that, it pushes you to write more.
Well, and I've done
and
plenty
get better.
of creative writing in my past. This is a new style of writing for me. So I do think that my experience in like creative writing from back in the day when I was writing songs and lyrics and things like that, I think that actually comes through in my writing for this kind of stuff as well. But yeah,
eloquent.
It's fun, and I'm looking forward to doing some more.
Big things go on, Regin.
Maybe I'll do one about how much I think we need an HD collection for Thunder Force.
So, yo, I'd be down with that. That's awesome. But no one wants to play shooters. See, those are shooters.
Yeah.
Those are shooters, not first person. I don't understand how that all of a sudden became shooter.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's like, you see the new shooter, this and that. I'm like, really? A new R-Type came out?
I know, we used to call them shooters all the time, right?
Now they've been supplanted to be shmups. No, those are fucking shooters.
Yeah, and not bullet hells either, because bullet hells to me are not...
I include those are shooters as well.
Well, no, they are shooters, yes, but they're not as fun to me, because for one, the bullets cover up most of the visuals.
I don't care. Anyway. I think it's awesome. I think they're all one and the same, just different variances. But yeah, we'll get into more about what we're going to be doing for the future at the end of the episode, and more about Ni no Kuni DMC later. But for now, the precedence has taken hold.
Oh.
And so it begins. And I'm losing it. I was so excited when that announcement happened. The PlayStation 4. It's coming. Donovan, how do you feel?
I got it. Well, I think I'll say exactly how I feel about both of the systems that we know they're probably going to be coming this year, because I'm pretty sure Microsoft's going to...
Not probably, they are.
Yeah. For me, it's still going to be about the games. There's got to be a game on one or the other system, or both, that is going to make me want to buy that system. Mm-hmm. I've never bought systems that launch just because it's a new system, that kind of thing. I need to have that must-have play game, that killer app, in order for me to... But on the other hand, now that we're doing this kind of thing, I kind of almost feel an obligation to, the gaming public in general, that maybe I will have to get one of these systems right now.
Well, we'll see. And who knows about games? Right now, we're just on the verge of an announcement, and a lot earlier than most people expected, I think.
Well, and I think the other thing that is interesting about the launch or the announcement is that this will be the fastest turnaround as far as like an announcement for a new system and then it launching, because usually we'll get this kind of news at an E3.
The previous E3 and then the build up throughout the year to the following holiday or something. But that's not exactly true. I think the 360 was announced at an E3 and subsequently released in the following holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, although I think a lot of people knew it existed, it wasn't formally launched. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that was right. But anyway, it's been a long 8 years. It's been a great 8 years.
Oh, we've got tons of great software, but I think, the general gaming public is ready.
And not only that, I think the developers have been clamoring for a while.
Yeah.
And they want to expand their tool sets and bring new technology to everybody. And it's tough to validate it because there's so many great looking games still coming out.
Yeah.
And how do you explain that, yes, this is actually, these visuals are archaic compared to the PC counterpart?
Right.
Because what PCs do with, anti-aliasing and bloom lighting and all these things that I don't even know about that make games look incredible. But it's hard to tell someone that these visuals are getting old when games just look this good.
Well, look at The Last of Us.
Which, exactly. Look at a more traditional cartoony style, Ni no Kuni. Look at Revengeance coming out. DMCs
Which
are
apparently runs at 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Revengeance.
I am too.
Actually,
but I mean, in terms, let's stay on the PlayStation 4.
Right.
I don't know. I jumped out of my friggin' pants when that announcement came because after Kaz's, I was worried. After he made that pseudo interview and he said he was going to let Microsoft make the first announcement, and they weren't going to be led by anyone else, we let them do it and follow suit. Because Sony's biggest detriment this generation from the beginning, they've been playing catch up in North America. And North America now is the most important geographical area for games. Whereas Japan used to be the leader and think we followed suit. North America, without question.
Well, the game's climate has changed so much.
But PlayStation, although globally is right on Microsoft's heels,
right,
it's getting its ass kicked in North America. And that's in major part due to price and also, more importantly, the year head start it gave Microsoft to stick those clutches in.
Yeah.
And price doubled down on
I
it.
was pretty surprised when they made the announcement that PlayStation 3 sales have now passed Xbox.
Shipped. They wouldn't say sold, but I think solds are right there too. It's just industry jargon. Bottom line is...
It's not by that much.
I mean, there are no losers this generation.
No.
There are no losers. And, I mean, you factor in the time with the PlayStation 3, but regardless, I should say, not irregardless, it doesn't matter. Because we all won. Everyone who owned every system, I suppose, won. But the key to the PlayStation 4 and Sony's success this time around, because their major competition, even though we technically won the last generation in terms of sales, it's Microsoft. Yeah. That's who we're competing. They are competing against. And the key is to get out, if not first, right with them. Right. And like I said, I was worried, but he threw, that's just a complete troll move. And now this announcement, he runs the friggin' company. Well, he knows what's going on. Yeah. And I love him for it. That's awesome. That's a huge PR coup to do that. And everyone, it blew the doors off of everyone. And now, what is everyone talking about right now?
Well, exactly.
The PS4.
Yeah. Now, and what's really going to be awesome is if we actually have, 2 new systems this holiday.
Oh, we will. The Durango, everyone's saying you're probably going to see an announcement for it around GDC, but...
Well, they've got that countdown
in a couple weeks.
Clock that they've been running off one of the Microsoft sites, right? So
that's right.
That's either a countdown to E3 or is it GDC?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's actually for E3. But...
I don't know. But I think they were caught by surprise, frankly, on what Sony's done here. And they've sort of grabbed the headlines. So... I mean, what do you think they're going to announce on February 20th?
Well, I mean, I think it's a pretty...
No, but I mean, it's a foregone conclusion.
Do you think we're going to get specs and all that kind of stuff? Probably not.
True specs?
Maybe we'll get...
It might be in the paper material. I think it's going to be a relatively short presser, less than an hour, but it could be an hour. There's no way they're jumping on stage for 20 minutes because they're flying people into... It's in New York.
Yeah.
They're flying people all across the industry in to take part in this. So they're not going to throw out a measly 20-minute conference.
Do you think do you think they'll show more than 10 games?
I don't think they will, but...
I think we'll get a handful of game announcements.
See, and that's the thing. Do you think they're going to show games?
I think they should.
But do you think they will?
I hope they do.
See, I think they're going to. And
yeah,
I think they're going to blow the door.
I
think most people are expecting... What I don't think is we won't get price. Okay? We're not going to get price yet. E3, that's right.
Yeah.
We're going to get the look and design.
Yep.
I don't know if we're going to get the controller.
You don't think we'll see the new controller?
I don't. I think they want to keep the focus on the direct hardware and on it itself rather than take away and start any sort of controversy, meaningful or meaningless, whatever it would cause.
Because doesn't sound like the controller's changing that much.
Oh, I don't know. There's a rumored touchscreen built into it.
In the place of the start-stop button?
Yeah, but see, and why put a touchscreen in that's that small? What purpose does it serve? That is
pretty small.
I mean, well, I don't understand.
Or is the controller going to be bigger?
Well, you can't.
Is it going to be Vita-sized?
Well, and that's another thing they could do. Hopefully they announce Vita functionality with the PlayStation 4, and that's why they've been so mum on the Vita, which I just bought recently, by the way. Mm-hmm. And I love it. The hardware's gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out later.
But yeah, I think they're going to stick it to hardware, specs, and then they're going to show off some
5 games.
I think you're going to learn what a lot of the most, if not all, the Sony first-party studios are working on.
Last Guardian.
Hopefully they announce it and put the rumor mill to bed that Studio Japan has brought the reason it's been taken off, they've decided to bring it to the next generation.
Yeah.
Hopefully. The rumor is, like we were talking earlier, Final Fantasy Versus 13 is no more. They changed the moniker on it and pushed it to the next generation as a new name, rumored to be Final Fantasy 15.
I hope so.
And that Final Fantasy 15 could be exclusive to the PlayStation 3.
And I have no problem with that either.
Yeah, I mean, it is... after Nintendo, it was a Sony game. So, I mean, that would be incredible to me. I mean, because Final Fantasy has suffered, and what better way to bring it out on the biggest stage?
Yep. And maybe... I mean, we know that they've obviously gone back to the drawing board for certain aspects of Versus 13. There's no reason. There's no way they couldn't have.
I think the game's been revamped and redone, and then when they realized they were running out of time, they scrapped plans for Versus, decided to go ahead with the third iteration of Final Fantasy 13, Lightning Returns, and bring it all out. Because aesthetically, Versus 13 looks nothing like
not at all
any of the other games. Like the world and the design. So why not make it a new game? It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I'm thinking that maybe based on all of the feedback that they've gotten from the last few years, based on the 13 series, that they're now have taken that and implemented it.
And we could get in a really big Final Fantasy discussion, which is something we had recently over the phone, and breaking it down. But I'd like to save that for a future podcast, because that can take up an hour itself. But I'm super excited. Will we see a new Uncharted from Naughty Dog? Because Naughty Dog has two teams.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to get a whole, like, another trilogy of Uncharted games? Or do you think maybe they'll move on to something
no
else?
way they're ditching it. I mean, if they're releasing new Gears of Wars, people want to sit there and tell me that they're tired of Uncharted. Maybe, but the games are incredible. Yeah. They're really, really well done. And there's no way they're ditching it. That's a flagship. If there was one franchise, to me, that would personify
PS3?
The PS3, it would be Uncharted, only because it was born there and carried through. Mm-hmm. If there's a series that personifies Sony throughout the PS2, it would be God of War to me, but there was only one game released, but that's going to be rectified in a few months with Ascension.
Right. But
for now, it's Uncharted, and I mean,
I'd go with
it's a great franchise to represent your system.
Yeah.
I mean, what's Insomniac working on? What's the Infamous developer working on?
Yeah.
There's just so many possibilities, and I think we're going to see some awesome shit.
Or is like Bungie's new game going to come out on next gen, you know?
That's right. Halo. No, not Halo.
Destiny?
Destiny, that's right. And that's cross-platform. Hopefully, it's not a timed exclusive for Microsoft. By all accounts say it's not going to be. So I think they will show games, and specific games, rather than a sizzle reel.
Right. I'm open so too. Like
I think they're going to have, like, Sony has these moments. Killzone on PS2, when everyone saw that one trailer. Remember when PS2 was just announced at that E3, and they showed this trailer where it was supposedly in-game footage, and it just floored everybody. I think they're going to have another one of those moments.
I hope so. And I really do, because I have a lot of faith that this year is going to be a game changer.
And unlike you, I'm a first adopter. I'm a sucker for new tech.
Yeah.
I'll be in line, getting one, freezing my nuts off, punching kids out if they get in my way. They're done. I will get one.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought 2 PS3s day one. I knew the guy at EB, and I sold the other one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was lucky.
I didn't get my PS3, and I've probably even said this on the podcast before, until Final Fantasy 13 was coming.
I know.
So that's at least 2 or 3 years into the life cycle.
You're a weirdo, Donovan.
I was getting by on my Xbox, again, which I didn't buy until at least a year into its life cycle.
Any outlandish predictions for this announcement conference thing?
I don't think anything that we haven't already covered. Maybe like a brand new IP, I hope.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think there's a slight chance that the new Beyond Two Soul game by the Heavy Rain developer, Quantic Dream, I think that could be pushed to the next gen.
Maybe, but I wonder if they want to avoid bumping too many things because of the the whole 10-year lifespan of the PS3, right?
Well, yeah, but those cycles are pretty much over once the new hardware is released. I mean, the PS2 did it a bit, had a couple games when the PS3 was released, but I don't know if they want to make the same mistake again, because they've hurt the Vita for continuing to support the PSP. PS3 will still see support, but they're not going to see major exclusive games to that platform.
Yeah.
Maybe a dumbed down version of a PS4 game or something of that nature.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm super excited.
I'm jazzed. I hope it's...
the next generation is coming, man.
I hope I can watch it live.
And like I'm going to, definitely. But no dirt in the face of Nintendo, but when gamers and industry people think of the new generation, the Wii U is not what comes to mind.
Right.
That is not next generation.
I think the system has potential.
Definitely.
Still, and I will say that I'm actually, interested by what's coming. Like Bayonetta notwithstanding, there's other things coming out that I am curious about.
Yes, but it does not have the potential to push the next generation software forward like people were expecting.
No.
I mean, it'll still have great games, and it's the first true HD system they have.
It's 5 years behind. It's 5 years late.
Absolutely, if not more. The technology, it's old tech in the Wii U.
Yeah.
It's not next gen, and major publishers such as EA already alluded to that fact in their business meetings. And with that, I suppose we can digress into the Nintendo Direct conference,
sure, yeah.
which was we're a little late on that, and the PS4 announcement sort of stole the wind out of the sails there, but there was a few cool things that came out of there.
There's actually a lot of cool things that came out of that, and that was probably Nintendo's best,
much better,
easily their best Nintendo Direct in a very long time, if not ever.
If not ever, and much better than their last year's E3.
And this was like a mini E3, really, for them. And tons of great announcements. I mean, the fact that they said that, okay, fine, that we're working on Zelda, but it's not going to be a while, so we're going to do Wind Waker HD.
Yeah, and whatever. I mean, Wind Waker isn't my favorite Zelda, but I think the visuals will be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, they're completely revamping them and taking the cel-shaded look to, like, the next generation and look like... It'll be like a Ni no Kuni look.
Sure.
But in Zelda format.
Yeah. No, it looks cool, and for me, anyway, Wind Waker was one that I never got to play, and that I'm curious for.
I never finished it.
No.
It was okay, but I think it was the kiddie influence at the time. But the game's not actually kiddie; it's just your first impression,
right?
And I had other things to play, so it didn't stick with me. Then there's the Shin Megami Tensei Cross
Fire Emblem.
That's right. Which, I mean, for me, other than the next thing we're probably going to mention is the biggest thing for me out of that. Nintendo Direct. I think that's awesome. Both licenses are super impressive.
Yeah, that is a very unique crossover that I'm going to definitely keep my eye on. And then X.
Now that is, to me, that's got me the most excited.
Honestly, man, I was watching clips of the Nintendo Direct and I was like, this is cool. And then I saw the clip of that and Buddy got into his mech and took off and I was like,
I know.
Jaw dropped. Literally, jaw dropped.
Yeah.
I'm like, I must play.
Yes. I like if that game is everything it could be.
Yeah.
It might push me to get a Wii U.
Like I said, there are games that are being announced.
Monolith created Xenosaga, one of my favorite RPGs of all time. And the mech Xenogears.
Right.
Xenosaga they did later on the PlayStation 2, but it wasn't very good. It never lived up to the hype. And it still came with the mech sort of combat interface, but and Xenoblade, which was a return to form on the Wii, I never got to play because I never had a Wii.
Yeah.
But this game, it looks awesome.
The monsters that they were showing off. I mean, this game is pretty far into development.
Yeah.
So it looked good.
And the mech design is really impressive.
Yeah, better than, well, this is almost a digression, but have you seen a trailer for Pacific Rim? The new.
Yeah, I did.
I don't like the mech designs.
No, I didn't like them either.
Like the monster designs look awesome, but the robot designs don't look cool. Which they should have taken more influence from anime for that. But
what's cool is the GLaDOS.
The GLaDOS voice, yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
But what else? Yeah, the Axe game, man.
Whatever it turns out to be, yeah, I'm very. That made my eyes go wide for sure.
And there was a couple other things like the new Miiverse and stuff. Honestly, I could give two craps about that, but I mean that's for Nintendo fans. And Iwata at least acknowledged that no games were coming out right now, and they apologized, which Nintendo rarely does. And they're promising to rectify that.
But
in the
they
near
are
future.
also going to do another Nintendo Direct in a couple of weeks, and
I think that's
showcasing
third
third party they were going to talk about.
Oh well, that's cool. I'm surprised. You'd think they'd. I guess they want to keep the narrative going while all this hype builds up for the next gen, like the Durango and the Orbis.
This is the way it works now. All this social media and like these.
They want to be a part of the conversation. They want to stay relevant.
And that's, to me, we talked about this a little bit earlier. The fact that the announcement for PS4 and then the launch is going to be so close together. I mean, you said maybe the 360 had a tight launch, but we knew about the system already. I think based on social medias and things like this, we're getting this sort of quicker, tighter launch.
Well, yes and no. I mean, we still got a huge. The PS4 is earlier, but there's so much. I don't know how much it matters, but there's so much given to the PR coup and the who's winning what. The PR battle.
Well, what information
battle.
got leaked and
That's
what
right.
didn't, you know?
And people rank this stuff, and then the internet voice picks up. And how much all that matters, I don't know, but it's loud and people listen sometimes.
And that's what I mean by that.
It's getting ahead of that and staying relevant and keeping that. Like right now, for what it matters, Sony has the bull by the horn. Mm-hmm. They have the world's attention, and it's up to them to deliver. See, it's one thing to grab that attention, but it's another thing to deliver, because if they don't deliver, it backfires on them.
No.
And then that anticipation falls through Microsoft, and then they sit back and say, haha, we knew you couldn't deliver. Now here's ours. And they take all the wind out of the sails.
Well, and that's what E3 could be.
I think this is going to be the best E3.
If they don't blow their load all on this presser, which they won't. They're going to have to save some big stuff for E3. But, I mean, depending on how long this announcement conference is, then I'm guessing an hour tops.
Yeah, I some people were saying half an hour. I think it's going to border on an hour.
Yeah,
I really do. But Nintendo, their Nintendo Direct, I will honestly say it has me more intrigued.
Yep, I'm more interested now in the Nintendo franchise than I've been in a long time.
Nintendo,
the brand, yeah.
Because a lot of their Mario games do nothing for me.
Yeah,
nothing. Even a new Zelda, unless it's wildly different, I don't care about. It's just more of the same. Green Leotard and Master Sword, which I know the gameplay is awesome. And there I go with that word again. But I know the gameplay is really, really well done and it's tried and true and it's going to deliver in that way. But that formula, dungeon, grappling hook, away you go, maps in the dungeons, it's done. It's been done generations ago. Do something else. Put yourself out on a limb. This is the problem I have with Nintendo.
Well, and that's what that sounds like they're going to try to do with the next one.
But they said that before.
Yeah.
They said that with Twilight Princess, and it still wasn't too different.
Yeah. I think they said they tried a few things with Skyward Sword.
But it was basically the same thing.
Yeah.
The dungeon progression's the same. The look is the same. It feels the same. Like, the games all feel the same. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know how radically they're going to change the look of their games, because
I think they should just go completely out of left field, because Nintendo fans have proven one thing: they'll buy anything first party, and that's great that they do it. Nintendo, but they should capitalize on that.
Yeah, take
Zelda and just fuck it up. Like, I don't mean ruin the game, but do something so different. I'm not saying build a modern day Zelda, but let's just change the world.
Yeah.
Let's put it somewhere else. Who knows? Maybe you don't even play as Link. Maybe you pull a Metal Gear Solid 2 and you do something completely different where you start as Link and Link fucking dies.
Yeah.
And then it's someone else. I mean, do something. Rattle the cage. Get the conversation different. Like, show people that you're willing to take a chance.
Well, and that's something that Nintendo hasn't done for a long time.
No, they don't.
Not rattled the cage.
They toe that line.
And to me, that almost, they're putting a lot at risk at this point, because yes, they have their devoted following, and you're right. Like, not trying to knock Nintendo fans, but they do tend to latch on to anything that the company releases.
Well, it's like a blinder aspect sometimes, and there are some of the best games ever released are Nintendo's.
Yeah.
And
absolutely,
they still continue to deliver great games, but some of them aren't very good, and they still sell really, really well. And you can't even tell them shit, because they'll just lose their mind.
Yeah. But I think, and this has been said before too, but I think that there's a tendency for people in our age bracket to kind of feel like, well, we grew up and Nintendo didn't, and you can't necessarily blame them for that, because they're still... They know their audience, and they're kind of designing their games around that. But at the same time, there are gamers like us that want to be a little more dedicated to Nintendo and just don't feel like the software.
Yeah, but when does that shift? I suppose...
Well, if that's what we're asking.
I suppose their mindset will never shift until their core audience starts to, but it's going to happen. If one thing's a constant in business, is that things change. And things haven't changed much for Nintendo first-party franchises, and nor have they, but... What happens when those tired character tropes and formulas finally get thin?
Well,
because they got thin for us.
How many Mario games can they make? Like they've gone back to making 2D Mario games.
It amazes me that Mario stays relevant because Mario games still are very good. The gameplay is excellent. But the character of Mario, I mean, is he even a character? What does he do? He's iconic in the way the old Dante was iconic in DMC. Like their uniform is instantly recognizable, as is the mustache. And his woohoo and things like that, and it's me, Mario. But aside from that, there's no character there.
Not really.
There's nothing.
Well, they've been doing the same thing with Mario since his inception, more or less.
And it's just, Bowser, and then the worlds, and Peach gets kidnapped, and like how long till that gets tired for people? Because as you and I have both said, it got tired for us.
If I want to play Mario, I've got my Super Nintendo.
That's right. I mean, the best Mario game and the best Zelda games, I can play them. They've already been made. And Metroid as well. Super Metroid. The first Metroid Prime. Those are the best games. I don't need it until they top that, which they've shown they haven't been able to do. I got the best Nintendo games. And they're essentially the same game.
Well, that's the thing. Super Mario Land and New Super Mario Brothers Woo. Woo.
We do. Woo. Woo. But no, like Galaxy on the Wii is a very good game.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the best, actually. But aside from that, there's like 7 other Mario iterations that I could care less about.
Yeah. So that's all we want is for them to move ahead.
I want them to take a chance, and we've stated this before.
Want a new IP and all these other things that...
But I think we can both agree that the most exciting things coming out for Nintendo are all third-party based.
Yep.
They showed the Bayonetta 2 trailer. The Wonderful 101 looks cool, really cool. But it looks like co-op play, and I don't know how Nintendo's online and multiplayer tools are going to support that. We'll see.
Yep.
We'll see. But yeah, I guess that's enough for them. Now we're waiting on Microsoft.
Yeah.
Like we'll see. I think they're going to keep mum until Sony's done.
Well, like they've got their little countdown thing going on the website, so...
I want to see something new from Microsoft. I don't want to see a shooter.
Just Halo 5.
Halo 5 and new Gears of War. Like, give me something new.
Yeah.
I want to see a new IP. I want to see them take a chance.
Or at least, like, let Remedy come out with Alan Wake 2 or something like that, like...
There you go, but I don't think that's big enough.
No.
That's a good compliment.
But I'm pretty sure that we know that they're working
Like,
on
I want them to... When they do announce the Durango or 720, whatever the hell it is, in their little presser that comes before E3, because we both know that's going to happen. I want them to say, now here's a taste of things to come.
Right.
And but like I can see Sony doing that because they do show steal with games. I've never really seen Microsoft do it.
No, and Sony is good at doing that. They've done that at E3, even if they're just doing a sizzle reel, but they do make a point of, like, games. So...
I want Microsoft to get me excited with something new. Halo 5 and New Gears of War doesn't do it.
No.
It doesn't do it. They need to launch with something that just... I just don't... I know those franchises sell like gangbusters, but is that enough?
Yeah.
Is that enough? Well, I mean, it's been enough, but will it be enough moving forward?
I know that there are a lot of dedicated Halo players out there, so if they were to launch with a Halo title, I'm sure that they would sell a lot.
Oh, absolutely. I know it's going to sell well. But can Microsoft gamers survive with Gears of War, Alan Wake, Forza, and Halo being their main 4 first-party franchises?
Well, I mean, honestly, like I said, for both Nintendo and Sony, give us a new IP.
Yeah, but Sony does give new IPs.
Yeah. No, and I mean, like, I'm hoping...
What does Microsoft do that's new?
They haven't brought out a new IP in quite a while.
And what does Nintendo do? This is the only thing. Give Sony shit for a lot of things, but they make new games.
Yeah.
And they're constantly trying to create... Now, they need to do what Microsoft and Nintendo do and market and support their products, because it's a shame what some of these games are sent out to die. And they deserve better. But this isn't about sales first and foremost or marketing PR, but it's just about new IPs, and I want to see something different from Microsoft.
Microsoft is the worst culprit as far as that. Well, I mean, Nintendo's pretty bad too, but I mean,
Nintendo's
Microsoft
trying.
Studios.
Nintendo's trying with the Wii U. Like Shin Megami Cross.
That is
Fire Emblem. That's trying. New RPGs. They're trying. Bayonetta 2. Like, I hated it, but the gamer and objective side of me can't help but respect the hell out of that decision.
Yeah.
And what they did, I mean, that's awesome that they scooped that game up. But anyway, I'm super excited about games right now.
No, me too.
And the future,
and that's actually
promise of what's
resonating
to
with
come.
other people I'm talking to as well. I'm getting a very there's this building excitement.
The buzz is starting, and it's only going to get louder.
Yeah, I've talked to a few people, and they're all like, "E3 is going to be so good."
And that's the
this
thing.
year.
Like most of these guys don't even know what E3 is.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them don't. They
Yeah.
just it's new for them.
Yep.
But I think that buzz. People want new tech, and as good as the games are now and have been the last couple of years, they want that new tech. 8 years. It's been a long friggin' time, and 8 years has allowed other devices to creep in.
Yeah.
Old system is old, I guess. Whether it's a new iPad, these things, there's been like, how many, the iPad's been created and there's a million of them now. It's time for a new system.
Yeah.
Blew a bubble there. See that? But anyway, on the topic of games, let's get on to a big one that you were really looking forward to, and Ni no Kuni.
Absolutely.
A PlayStation 3 exclusive.
Yeah, so, I guess I clocked it at almost 40 hours already. I've definitely sunk my teeth deep into this one. Really satisfying.
Now, let's address the first topic. Is it the savior of JRPGs, like a lot of people are saying?
Honestly, in a lot of ways, I would actually...
It's kind of bullshit, by the way, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's certainly the best JRPG I've played in a long time.
Okay.
The story is good. The overworld is well designed. The music's fantastic.
Yeah, Joe Hisashi did it, right?
Yeah. It's really, like I said, it's scratching that itch I've had for an old school RPG that I haven't felt since, say, Lost Odyssey kind of had that kind of feel. Very few RPGs from this generation have got that kind of nostalgic feel.
I
to
completely
them.
agree.
And actually, having just come off playing Rogue Galaxy on PS2, which is another level 5 title, and I've played a few of their games, and I can see similarities in Ni no Kuni, which in it are good things.
The graphical style notwithstanding, there are similarities in their gameplay and combat.
Well, the alchemy
as well.
thing, they've been using that since Dragon Quest VIII, or maybe before that. I don't know. But Dragon Quest VIII was a fantastic game, and I do feel that I'm getting that same kind of vibe out of Ni no Kuni.
I picked it up.
Yeah.
Which, again, you talk about scratching that itch, and I wanted a quest, like a traditional RPG quest. I haven't played it in so long.
Yeah.
And it was like that or Persona 4, but the modern take and the randomized and aspect of the dungeons, as well as the medial activities such as reading books and stuff to gain skills of Persona 4, it's not going to appeal to me. I know it's not.
Right.
So I chose Ni no Kuni, and yeah, like everyone's heralding as the return of JRPGs. Well, there was a good article on 1UP. JRPGs never really went anywhere other than to different platforms.
Yeah, they've been on handhelds.
That's right, handhelds, and to a lesser extent the Wii. So they've sort of been out of sight, but they didn't disappear. But I suppose Ni no Kuni holds a lot on its shoulder for the resurgence of the traditional JRPG on bigger home consoles.
And I think the biggest thing to take from that is that if you make a good JRPG, it'll work.
Well, it also helps that the game looks incredible.
It looks fantastic.
But that's been a staple of all AAA RPGs.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy just didn't get by because it was a good game. It got by because the games look gorgeous.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing people see. They're like, wow, look at this world.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wow, look at the characters and how they look and how they move, and the battles are enticing. And then the story brings you in. So, but first they come for the visuals, mostly.
Yeah.
Ni no Kuni's no different.
Ni no Kuni just looks incredible. I mean, I wrote in my blog that sometimes it feels like you're walking through a painted environment.
It does. And it's able to achieve that level of visual because it doesn't do too much.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of moving parts in the background and stuff like that. But
I think the game actually runs at 60 frames because of the fact that it's not busy.
No, it's
visually,
not.
But it still looks incredible.
It does.
And it just goes to show, like, if Square maybe took a step back from trying so hard to make their games look.
Oh, dude, we can't do this right now.
I know
because we.
But okay, well, I'll say this is that I think based on the success that this game is having, that other companies that make RPGs should take something from this.
Well, and that's the thing, though. It's almost as traditional as you can get in terms of a look, a world, a story, and a lot of aspects that have been tried and true since the SNES.
You want
era.
to talk about tropes, but it's not such a bad thing. You know?
No, it's not. No.
You start off with one person and you slowly build up a party. I got a boat. Now I've got a dragon.
I'm on a boat, motherfucker. I'm on a boat. Yo, I got a boat.
Yeah, so I got
the sea cow.
But yeah, and I got my dragon now, so I'm flying around.
Well, there you go.
Right?
But I mean, now I can honestly say the game hasn't pulled me in like I was hoping. But I shouldn't say like it's not a bad thing. I really enjoy the game, but there's I find the quest is a little juvenile.
Is it a little too
slightly
Disney for you?
Yeah, but I don't. Yes, I suppose.
That's the best way to put it.
I think it's going to change a bit as I get going, but right now it's just sort of going through the motions. Yeah. Like I've got my third-party member, Swain. It's Slain or
Swain?
Swain, that's right. But it's just sort of going through the motions. But I'm enjoying it. There are some problems with the combat system, like I said.
Yeah.
Your AI partners are dumb.
Well,
and nothing seems to be able to fix that. And
what I said to you is, it feels like I don't have enough MP because they suck it up so quick. The only way to kind of counter that, I guess, is to try to put lower MP using skills on your familiars. But like,
I know. I mean, that's not fair. There needed to be a better system in place there.
Yeah,
I think we can both agree on that. But it's not
minor gripes aside.
I don't know if it's minor or major because I haven't got too far in the game. You're farther than me.
Yeah.
But I know there are some spikes in terms of bosses where it can come into play and hurt you. I actually have had characters die in battle.
Oh, I've had characters
and
die.
I'm just like, why? Like, these like, I'm not fighting anything tough. It's just they do stupid things.
Yeah. Or I don't have enough phoenix feathers or whatever they are in this game to want to waste one.
Well, they're quite expensive too.
Yeah, they're like 500 gold a piece, right?
And you want to outfit your familiars with the best stuff to keep up with the level grind and stuff like that. But overall, the game's really good. I don't know. Are you far enough in it to give it a score?
I definitely think I'm about I'm getting to the 2/3 mark at least.
You could probably throw it an early score before you review.
I gotta give it a 9.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, production wise.
Like productions are 10s for me.
Yeah, but I mean, like it's like I said, it's sunk its teeth into me. I even bought the guide. Which I
can't believe you bought that. It's like $50,
dude. I was holding it and I'm like,
it's really nice, but that's $50.
Well, it was 40, but yeah.
Okay. To me, success in the JRPG or RPG genre period is good for all RPGs, and it can only pave the way. It won't have the effect that Final Fantasy VII did for RPGs back in the PS1 era, but it will. Hopefully, it'll stimulate that genre and get people translating.
That's what I'm hoping,
and bringing those games back over across the board, like to the PS3, to the 720. And 360.
Well, and even just like I said, like using this particular kind of art style and showing that it works. And honestly, I find that when the game switches into the actual animated bits, that they don't look as good as the actual
they're slightly
game.
more choppy.
Yeah,
they're definitely more choppy.
And that's where what lends me to think that the game actually is running at like 60 frames.
Well, I mean, frames per second don't really matter in a game of this nature, but it does definitely run smoothly.
Yeah. Like just when Oliver's running through towns and his cape is flowing.
Oh, yeah.
It's just...
Oh, the game's
great.
very pretty. Production values are 10s. I do have problems with the combat system that caused me to give it a low. Right now, if I had to score it right now, I'd probably give it an 8 to a 7.5. It's a very good game.
Yeah.
But there are some things that... everyone's saying every PS3 owner needs to own this game. No, they don't. Because it may not appeal to everybody.
No.
It's very traditional in its RPG tones. And
I do worry that like a novice player is going to get to that point where they're like...
Yeah, because the visuals might bring them in, and then people who aren't familiar with that combo system, or combat system, sorry, might get their ass kicked, and they might get frustrated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got killed by the second enemy I fought in the game.
Well, I didn't suck that bad, Donovan.
You
but
know, I don't know what happened, but
I've yet to get a game over screen, and hopefully I never see one. But
I think I've had 2 or 3. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really had a particularly difficult time with any of the bosses yet. Been close. I've been down to one person.
yeah, me too on a couple of the bosses.
Yeah.
But Ni no Kuni's a really good game, and it's a PS3 exclusive.
Yeah.
They took a chance. It's almost a year late in terms of when it was released in Japan.
But again, like they put a lot of heart into translation. This game, I mean, that's a great metaphor for this game in general. It's just like it's full of heart.
It is.
But
and literally as well, because you're taking and giving.
Yeah, yeah.
It's one of the aspects. It's kind of, I suppose, it's kind of corny in the way it handles some of that stuff. But all in all, it works. I mean, you put certain things aside when you
that's
engage
the Disney
in a story.
flavor.
That's right. When you engage, well, I mean, Studio Ghibli is the Disney of Japan.
Yeah, exactly, and that's just why.
But they're also not a kiddie studio either. They make very realistic and relevant tales.
Spirited
Grave
Away.
of the Fireflies. Spirited Away. Grave of the Fireflies, some people say, is the greatest anime ever created.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It takes during the World War II, the bombing of Japan.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Oh yeah, it's really, really good.
Oh wow.
Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
Lots. I mean, they're really, really good animes that transcend. Anime isn't. Yes, it's I suppose we could call it a cartoon, but it's not.
Yeah.
They take more themes that wouldn't be tackled in your traditional cartoon.
Well, yeah, this is not Bugs Bunny cartoon.
No, it's not. But anyway, that's Ni no Kuni. I think we both wholeheartedly recommend it.
Yep.
Me, a little lighter. If you're into RPGs, you'll like it. I'll just say that.
Absolutely.
But it's not for everyone.
Yep. And now for a word from our sponsors.
Devil May Cry. It's a customer with the password. They're nearby. What should we do?
And we're back.
Right on.
We're good. P-break's done.
Yeah.
Sponsors are fulfilled. Let's move right along. After Ni no Kuni, I'll talk briefly about DMC.
Yep.
The new Devil May Cry reimagining.
Yes.
Not a reboot, really. A reimagining of the entire franchise. Some I reviewed and played. Donovan's yet to play it.
I will. I'm going to send you home with Dead Space so you can break.
Well, I think I think it'd be a good idea until when the Virgil DLC comes out, then you can play the entire thing. But
Right.
I'll get into that. Anyway, I gave it what did I give it?
8.
An 8.
8.5 or 8?
I think I gave it an 8.
Okay. Yeah.
An even 8 out of 10. Yeah. But scores don't really matter. It's just a number. The game's really, really, really good. A lot's been made out of the new Dante and how they're somehow cursing the franchise and they're going against everything it was made out of, and the old Dante is this. Well, my take is the new Dante is realistic and a more modern take and a more fleshed out character. The thing with the old Dante, as we were saying earlier with Mario, his uniform and his look is very iconic. The silver hair, the red leather coat, the sword, and twirling the guns and shit. But other than a couple nonsensical catchphrases,
sweet baby,
he was basically just a parody of a character. There really wasn't much to him.
Yeah.
Woohoo, and this is going to be one hell of a party.
let's start the party.
That he would just say that stuff, and it never seemed to make much sense.
Right.
But it was fun. We didn't demand
That
a
was
fleshed
kind
out.
of the point of that original Devil May Cry.
We didn't demand a fleshed out character from our game. We just wanted to get in, kick some demon ass, and pull out some awesome combos with great weapons.
And
right?
Richard gave us in.
Oh, absolutely. Devil May Cry
Health
3 is the best action game of all time.
Yep. Or Ninja Gaiden.
Well, mine. Oh, yeah, and Ninja Gaiden's right there as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
I know.
Either way, the top echelon is like the creme de la creme. It doesn't matter
Absolutely.
who's better or not. But they've taken everything and they've created a new Dante. This Dante has black hair, but you have to play the game to see how things change. But right away, if you're creating a fleshed out, realistic character, he's behind the 8 ball already because you're comparing it with someone who's not really a character at all.
Right.
So everything you try to do is going to seem, I mean, it's very polarizing in your expectations and impressions of the character. He's different because he's a character now, and he's realistic. But and my one thing is because once you start to realize what the new Dante's like, we've all sort of met someone just like this guy.
Oh, okay.
And the thing is, we kind of don't like him either. He's brash, he's cocky, and very confident.
Yeah.
And like I said, a lot of people in gaming may not have been, they knew guys just like that growing up, and they don't fucking like them. So I think that's where the backlash comes from, honestly.
Yeah.
Aside from that, most importantly, the combat is DMC is what you come for.
Right.
And it's really, really good. You got your angel and devil triggers from your or weapons, I should say, on your trigger buttons that change your forms of combat. You can get in the air and do tons of different stuff. It's fluid, and it really delivers. Like, I have no complaints.
So you were pulling off some pretty awesome
Oh,
combos
dude,
and
like,
stuff?
you'll be doing it easily, right away. The weapons, it's not... they did take away the style system from 3 and 4.
Right.
Which is missed, I will admit, because it's something we've come to know and love, and what made the combat so deep in those games. But people have to understand that this is the first game.
Yeah, and that's
of a
something that
reimagining.
I've seen come up more than a few times
You
now.
can't. You got to save a little trick. And,
Yeah.
But what is there is very. It's not like one weapon and beating crap.
This
like,
is a great starting point.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Words can't really express how.
I really haven't heard any bad press about it. It's mostly been fan reaction that is the negative.
That's right. And
you know.
internet fanboy reactions can just go the wayside.
It's almost been universally critical.
I've not seen a bad professional, quote unquote, review for it yet.
Yeah.
Haven't.
No, me neither.
Unfortunately, Dante made out really well, but his brother Virgil did not get the same treatment in my eyes. He's probably, other than Dante, the most popular character in the Devil May Cry franchise, Virgil. But they made him out to be rather weak, whereas he's supposed to be the stronger of the two brothers in the other stories.
Okay.
I wasn't a big fan of it, because Virgil's a really popular character. I just didn't really like it.
No, and you like Virgil.
I love Virgil. I think his design and the way his combat style is what it is. He rather than the traditional guns and broadsword of
samurai.
Dante, he's the sword and draw samurai style with the Yamato. And well, again, I was able to forgive them a bit on it because it is the first game, and we'll see where they go with the character. But it wasn't kind to Virgil. I'll just put it that. But like I said, the DLC is coming.
Right.
Virgil's entitled Virgil's Downfall, and we'll have it. I think in another week.
So you might get something akin to what you're asking for.
Hopefully, because the character, you would think he deserved better.
Right. Okay. Now,
consider his pedigree from Devil May Cry 3, and I mean his addition to the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
no mention of Trish.
None.
You think they'll introduce her?
We'll see. Female characters have always been the weakest part of Devil May Cry, in my opinion.
Okay.
But Trish, I mean, if there's one that's the best out of them, it's definitely Trish. So we'll see.
This new girl, Kat, is it?
Really good.
Yeah.
She adds well to the narrative, and again, her voice acting's extremely well done.
Okay.
I think you'll specifically like her character.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And the world, that is the real star of this reimagining, the world of Limbo.
I've seen...
And the way it adapts and changes and creates, it's just... words really can't explain how good it is.
Now, I wanted to ask you something, since you've played the whole game and you've seen, I guess, whatever variety of environments you're getting in. And some of the clips that I've seen make the game look awfully dark and muddy looking at times.
It's actually anything but.
Like lots of red. I'm talking like red, like...
Well, that's only one aspect. There's no specific... It's not like a Fallout where it's a green-brown all the time. The palettes are ever-changing.
Okay.
Really, they are. You have urban settings. You have dream, fantastical neon colors that stand out. Then there's your muddy industrial tones. It goes the broad spectrum.
Yeah,
of
I
color.
just think that some of the clips that I've seen have been all from a certain section of the game.
Well, if you look at my review and some of the stills I have in that, it has a really good spectrum of the different boards and levels and colors. I wholeheartedly recommend DMC to new fans and old fans of the franchise alike. If you write it off because of the new Dante, you're doing yourself a discredit, because the game, once you play the game, I think the character will grow on you.
No.
And it's interesting to see how the character changes. You'll be surprised.
And I guess it should be mentioned that if you've got a PC, you should probably grab it for PC.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. The PC, of course, is... Well, not of course, actually. Sometimes there is some shoddy PC ports, but...
Dead Space 3, we've been hearing about. So.
Yeah, it's just basically a port from the console and no improved features.
Yeah.
DMC has all improved graphical features that make the game look out... And 60 frames per second, barring your rig can handle it.
Right, exactly.
But in terms of home consoles, the 360 version is by far the better version. PS3, again, has suffered from a shoddy port due to its structure, and what we've seen is it suffers with Unreal Engine games anyway.
I was really surprised when I found out that the game was being made with Unreal Engine, considering that it was a series born on PlayStation, so you'd think that they'd want to make the strongest version possible that they could.
Yeah, and Ninja Theory, the developer, has worked on a PlayStation exclusive in Heavenly Sword. You'd think they'd have a grasp of it, or give it more attention.
To go with Unreal Engine then kind of surprised me.
Mm-hmm. But it's not as bad as, say, a Bayonetta port was initially, but Bayonetta has been fixed through a patch and an option to install. But other than that, and I'm hoping DMC does get a patch. I think there will be one for the PS3 one. It's still very playable.
Yeah.
But it does, texture rendering is a little slow.
A little drop in here and there.
Yeah, and load times are long. I wouldn't... people say there's frame rate drop. Nothing...
no
that
game
took
breaking.
away. No, honestly, and I barely noticed it.
Yeah.
I barely noticed it between the two console versions.
I think you got to be pretty hardcore to catch that stuff.
Game's really good. I couldn't recommend it more to any action fan. It was really well. I can't wait for the sequel and the DLC.
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm pretty curious and excited to see where Ninja Theory is going to take this.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's that. I mean, I guess we can quickly touch on the new releases that came out today. Dead Space 3, a franchise you're really into.
Is it out today?
Out today. Pretty sure. Well, the reviews went live today.
Really? I thought it was next week.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the reviews are all out now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of the series. I've played the first two. I played the first one on Xbox 360 and the second one on PS3. Mainly because the PS3 version of 2 came with extra content and like extra game. I think Extraction, which was a Wii game.
No, it's out today.
It is out today.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, the reviews are varied right now. From what I'm seeing, 7.5.
Which is not bad.
No, definitely not. I mean, people need to get out of the mind that 9s and 8.5s are the only scores. Everything else sucks.
But at the same time, it being... I think 2 was scoring in the high 8s.
And 9s.
Yeah.
And 1, I think, was 8s as well. But again, score... I think we all knew, I had a feeling that Dead Space 3 was, like Resident Evil 6, it wasn't going to be as survival horror-esque.
Yeah.
And people they were shooting me down, no, it's going to be the same. I just knew from press materials and things that I watched that it was going to be different.
Well, the early trailers did not give it any indication that it was going to be super scary.
No, it didn't.
It looked
and
more
people
like...
try and tell me, no, it looks like Dead Space. But no, it doesn't actually. It doesn't at all.
Yeah. Well, and like having played the first 2, no, the trailers for 3 did not make it look like it was going to be anything close to the first 2.
And again, like Resident Evil 6, doesn't mean it's a bad game.
Yeah.
It's just survival horror. Like I wrote that blog a long time ago, and I think we talked on one of the podcasts. It's dying, and it's, if not almost dead, other than your smaller releases.
Look at the article that Capcom just released last week about taking Resident Evil back to its roots.
That's right.
I really hope that they do that.
But the fans speak with your wallets, though.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, Capcom said that 4.5 million sales is disappointing for Resident Evil 6, but they expected like 7 million.
Yeah.
So maybe it's caused them to change their stance. They know that the franchise has legs.
Yeah.
Because 4.5 million people are still interested. I guarantee it'll top 5 million when it's all said and done. But to them, that was disappointing. But they know there's an audience there, and they want to change the conversation on it.
I wrote a comment when that article got released, and I made an interesting suggestion. I don't know if anybody took note of it, but if they took the series back in time a bit and did a game that was based in like the 70s or 80s.
Well, that's the talk. Are they going to reboot or reimagine
They don't
the
need
franchise?
to reboot it.
I don't know, man.
There's so much lore there.
Yeah, but that's part of the problem to me. I think the namesake in Japan is Biohazard.
Yeah.
I think the industrial toxic roots of the franchise hurt the horror narrative to me. I think it takes away that supernatural sort of feeling that zombies can have with them.
I suppose, but yeah, I just think it'd be kind of neat that because of the sort of sour taste that 6 has left in a lot of fans' mouths, that if they were to do something different and without rebooting it, try doing a Metal Gear and take it back in time.
Well,
how about a game where you actually play as Wesker?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I think that'd be really cool. You know? Wesker, to me, is the best character in the series.
Yeah, and now that we don't have him anymore, why not bring him back via...
I suppose. I really think Resident Evil 7 won't be Resident Evil 7. I really think they're going to reboot it.
Yeah, well, that's probably very likely.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of...
Just with the words, like him saying that we need to reevaluate and bring it back, you can't really take what's happened and change the... You can't really change that.
Well, you can change the mechanics back to something a little bit more closer to what people want.
I guess. I don't know.
But to me, it's more about bringing back the scares. 6 just wasn't scary.
I will say survival horror is one of the most difficult genres to succeed in.
Probably.
It's just, because by and large, again, I don't want to really get into it. I talked about on my blog. It's that survival horror is dependent on difficulty, and people don't make difficult games anymore.
No, that's very true.
Because the threat of death, it needs to be around every corner, and surprise, and today's gamer does not like challenge.
Well,
they put games down so quick.
Unless it's Dark Souls.
Yeah, but that's even Dark Souls is not that challenging. The premise of it is there, but once you get to grips with the mechanics and get into the game, it's not that difficult.
Well, a testament to that is that Ty actually beat it on Soul Level 1 the other day.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that difficult of a game.
You have to know it.
Yeah.
In order to play.
Well, that's like anything.
Just like old games that like Mega Man, when you knew the level inside and out.
But I would argue that Dark Souls is more survival horror than anything. In essence, being released now than Dead Space 3 or Resident Evil 6.
Because that fear of death is...
And that, in essence, is what survival horror is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, with that comes the houses, the graveyards, and whatnot. That's the other things that are there. Dead Space 3 could be the last Dead Space we see. EA wants $5 million from this. They say that's the only way they keep up and make a Dead Space 4. The chances of that happening is slim to none.
Yeah.
You've seen that. They've stated that. They've been on record stating that.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
What the statement I did see about the release of it was about the PC port and how they didn't want one system to have a better version of the game. They wanted everybody to have the...
Well, it's a console game first. I get it.
That's fine, but at the same time, that's a bit of a cop-out.
It is. But they don't want to put extra work in it. I get it.
That's lazy.
I guess, but PC people should probably just be lucky or feel fortunate that they're getting it.
Well, again, Visceral Games are known for they do their console stuff.
That's right.
That's what they make
That's
for.
Right.
So
you'll be picking up Dead Space 3
eventually.
I
might not get it right away. Obviously,
I mean, it's a game. They've had co-op now with Carver. Instead of Isaac, or both.
I think I'm going to play it with Ty when we get a price drop.
You're going to get 360 version?
Yeah, I think so.
See, we do the podcast together, but we're not really akin. We're not linked. You're always selling me out on the games front. But that's okay. I understand.
I haven't once got a message saying, hey, Resident Evil 6 tonight.
You don't even want to be online when you play PS3. You're always offline to play Ni no Kuni. I can't message you. I don't even know when you're online. You don't smirk. You know you're doing it.
Text me.
You ignore me. How many times out there I messaged you like 3 times last night. Bring your password. 8 hours later. Oh, what's up? Oh, what's up?
Okay.
Yeah, I got your number. And you do that because you like your experience is sacred. So you shut her. You go offline.
I'll admit it. I turned off my auto sign in on PSN.
I know you did.
I did.
I know you did
because I got tired of the messages constantly coming up in the corner.
Well, it's not me messaging you.
John Ragnall is online.
Yeah. It is a little annoying.
Offline, online.
I delete those people that it costs me to. But and another game that came out today was Sly Cooper 4.
Oh, okay.
Well, real quick, I think Sly is like one of the most underrated like mascot type characters there is. All of their games are good. 1, 2, and 3, are very good. The cast of characters is extremely charming. As is the world, he's like a sleuth, and it's not just your typical platform.
Yeah. I've never played a Sly Cooper game. It's got its own
wrinkle. It should be much more popular than it actually is. I really hope a lot of people get out there and buy the game. It's always looked really good too. You want to talk about that Ni no Kuni look,
right?
Level 5 look,
yeah,
or Wind Waker look.
Sure,
that's the way Sly Cooper is, and you'd be hard pressed to say that any other games in that vein of visual style look better than Sly, or ever have when they were released.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that game does well, but again, Sony's basically left it out to die. There's no marketing for it.
I feel like there was better marketing back when the magazines were strong.
Well, here's the thing, and again, I wrote that Why PS All Stars Failed blog, which was, I'm going to toot my own horn here, extremely successful, featured on IGN. I almost have 800 comments, thousands and thousands of views on it. But marketing is a big thing, but it's a relatively new problem for Sony. Sony never had this problem in the PS1,
what's
PS2
going
era.
on?
Like, all their games were marketed.
What, because they lost Kevin Butler?
Well, I mean, but they weren't selling games first-party exclusives the way they should when he was there, too. Like, most of the commercials were stupid. I really enjoyed his character.
Yeah.
But they never showed the fucking game off.
No, they just showed him in an office or in a home or whatever. Like, they need to...
We've gone over this with the Vita. I don't know what the hell they're doing out there. But you can't make all these amazing games and then not support them. What is the point?
Yeah. Well, they did it with Starhawk, right?
Yeah. No support at all. Game bombed. And then the game's good. Like, it's a really good game. I mean, it's probably not for everybody, but man, it's a good game.
Every game is not for everybody, right?
Yeah, like, I just don't understand it. I really don't. I really don't. But I think that's about it for episode 13. So it begins.
In the
Grizzled
bag.
Veterans. In the bag. Anything you want to end off on, Donovan?
Well, I think we want to just make sure we send that little shout out to your new website.
Yep, New Gamer Nation. The podcast will be up there. And GN Peeps, we're going to be hosting it. Well, we'll still have our Podomatic host, but we'll also link it on New Gamer Nation. One of a couple podcasts that we're going to be doing there. So look out and please visit and see what we're doing over there. That's www.newgamernation.com.
As always, follow us on Twitter.
We'll put the links.
Yeah, the links will all be there. Check out our stuff on IGN.
And wherever else. I think next, what are we going to do next? We're going to do a music one?
Yeah, I think
gaming music one?
What we're going to try, we've talked about it, but we want to do a special episode that's just about music. So look for that very soon. And then we'll see what happens after that. Yeah,
I mean, whether you do it solo or you do a solo one, then we do another one together. I don't know. Gaming is a big part of gaming. Music's a big part of gaming, and it's important for us, both as gamers.
And the other really important thing we want to put out there is that, please, send us your comments. Let us know if we suck. If you want to continue any of our conversations that we start on the show, by all means, reach out to us either on the podcast page, on our Twitter pages, on our